Let's go. The judge is dropping the charges against Donald Trump. They're dropping like houseflies on a hot autumn day, on a hot August day in the South, with an old grandmother, with her newspaper, tied up like this, and swatting flies. They're going down, baby. Let's go. Judge overseeing Georgia election interference case dismisses, not all, but many Trump charges. Let's go, baby. Come on. Judge dismisses some charges in case against Trump. This is not a great sign for Fani Willis. Let me just tell you something. As a person who it speaks to a lot of legal experts on the program, who knows a lot of legal experts, I myself am not a lawyer. Not good, right? When the judge, before you've even had a trial date set, before you've even had a single hearing, when the judge is like, pew, 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 pew. Judge overseeing the Georgia 2020 election interference case on Wednesday dismissed charges against former President Donald Trump and others, but some counts in the sweeping racketeering indictment remain intact. Oh, wonderful. Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee, you know him, he's quite famous these days, wrote in an order that 6 of the counts in the indictment must be quashed, including 3 against Trump, presumptive 2024 presidential nominee. This must have been written before Trump clinched the nomination, or it's the AP, so, low standards. But he left in place some other charges. He said prosecutors could seek a new indictment on the charges he dismissed. The ruling is a blow to Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, whose case has already been on shaky ground with an effort to have her removed as a prosecutor over a romantic relationship with a colleague, a man whose birth certificate says Nathan's hot dog on it. It's the first time charges of any of Trump's 4 criminal cases have been totally dismissed by a judge. Just on their face. Bam. Right in your face, Fani Willis. With the judge saying prosecutors failed to provide enough details about the alleged crime. Ladies and gentlemen, the spawning indictment charges Trump and more, dozen, blah, blah, blah. There's an amazing paragraph here. This paragraph saying from the AP, like you can tell that their laptop didn't work while they were typing. You can tell the ruling is a blow for Fulton County District Attorney right there. You can tell that while they were typing, the tears, the salt was getting ingrained in their keyboard, and they couldn't quite hit the keyboard correctly because of the salt that they were crying in this line. The ruling is a blow for Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, whose case is on shaky ground. It's the first time any charges have been outwardly, totally dismissed before even a trial. They know they've lost. They know they've lost. This is the writings of losers. And this comes from the Associated Press, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh. Oh, it is so salty. If you believe that the salt must flow, if you believe that salt is good for you, and that salt must fill our cups, ladies and gentlemen, must fill our cups, and salt should overflow on this program, then please help me in salting another lib. Here is MSNBC. The strong female characters at MSNBC reacting to the cases being dropped just on their face by this judge in Fulton County. Again, never a great sign. Never a great sign. The way this works is you only bring charges you think you can win. This is the conversation we had yesterday with 2 bona fide legal experts, okay? Brett Tolman and Mike Davis on the program. The point of a prosecutor is to only bring charges that you know for a fact you can win. And so Fani Willis, such a dumpster fire, such a dumpster of a person, bringing these charges and getting them just like stricken by the judge. The judge is like, okay, getting the judge just to nuke your charges before even a trial, not a great sign. Ooh. We are not going to be sodium deficient today. Let's salt that lib once more. Here's MSNBC talking about it and crying on camera. I hope that they had those little garbage bags that they put over the cameras because of the sheer amount of salt in the studio at MSNBC. Go.
breaking news, Blaine. We wanted to ask you about the election there in Georgia last night, but we just got a filing from the court there in Fulton County. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I've just obtained that filing, and basically what is happening is that Judge Scott McAfee is dismissing several of the charges here in Georgia against former President Donald Trump. 6 of the charges in this order. The charges so far, and I'm still making my way through the judge's ruling right now, but appear to do with solicitation of violation of oath by a public officer. Those were certainly some of the charges that he was facing. Other people that were named, of course, Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, Johnny Eastman, Mark Meadows. And so this is certainly notable because the former president was facing a number of charges, but to have 6 of them removed is notable. Now, it's important to note he's still facing charges here in Georgia, still facing charges in Fulton County. We're also still waiting on a major decision from Judge Scott McAfee as to whether or not Fani Willis can continue to remain prosecutor on this case. This is not that decision. So to see this decision from the judge to come out this morning is a bit of a surprise. I've reached out to Trump's Georgia attorney here, Steve Sadow, who, of course, has been representing him as the lead attorney, to see if he has any comment. We've also reached out to the DA's office to see if they have any feedback or plan to push back on this ruling by the judge.
Oh, hell yes. Let's go ahead and show the ruling by the judge. Obviously, I want you to read it, and I want you to weep. The salt, it fills our cup. The salt, it is so salty, it gives us life. The salt must flow on this program. The salt must flow should probably be Donald Trump's campaign slogan. We don't know if Donald Trump, what the name will be. Trump what? What's it going to be? Who's he going to pick? But we know that the salt must flow should absolutely be the campaign slogan. 6 counts of Fani Willis's indictment against President Trump has been quashed, destroyed by the judge. The judge writes here at the very top of his ruling, the defendant's challenge counts 2, 5, 6, 23, 28, and 38 of the indictment by the way of special demur. Demurs provide a means for criminally accused to ensure that the state's charging documents satisfy the constitutional mandates, due process, and the 6th Amendment. See Constitutional Amendment. Special demur of these challenges form indictment claiming that the defendant entitled additional information or specificity, and he writes that he is quashing them. He's throwing them out. Let's see if we can get sort of the, let's see if we can get all the way down here. Let's scroll down to the very bottom of the document, please. Defendants have not provided any authority requiring that the particulars of an overt act be alleged or subjected, overt act to be standards of general or special demurs. The defendant's challenges on these acts is therefore denied. Ladies and gentlemen, it is quashed. Here we go. Here's the actual part. Okay, under the standards articulated by the appellate courts and special demur must be granted, and counts 2, 5, 6, 23, 28, and 38 quashed. There it is right there on the second to last page. So again, read it and weep, baby. Fani Willis is going down in flames. We've been predicting this for a very long time, but sometimes we're even shocked at how accurate our predictions are. The judge overseeing this case, Scott McAfee, who just seconds before we went live today, dropped this thermonuclear weapon on Fani Willis, is now saying that he's going to decide whether Fani Willis will be disqualified by the end of the week. And it is Wednesday. So judge overseeing Georgia election interference case dismisses charges against Trump and then says that he's on track to rule this week as to whether Big Fani and Nathan's Hot Dog can continue their 7-Eleven hot dog rolling of the taxpayers in Fulton County. Rolling the taxpayers in Fulton County. The judge is going to decide, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully on Friday. I assume it's going to be on Friday. So get ready for a Friday super Fani pack, if you might say. A packed Fani on Friday. I carry lots of cash where I lay my head. Remember, wherever Fani Willis lays her head, she carries the cash. Here we go. Let's read from Yahoo News, the breaking news. The presiding judge in the former President Donald Trump Georgia election subversion case says he's on track to order this week whether to disqualify Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. In an interview last week on WSB Radio in Atlanta to discuss the challenger He will face, in his re-election bid, Fulton County Supervisor Court Judge Scott McAfee briefly spoke about Willis and his pending order on whether to remove her from prosecuting Trump and remaining co-defendants. Now, this is very interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because what he's saying here, what the underlying thing here is happening is that Fani Willis is running a judge against him. Isn't that interesting, ladies and gentlemen? So this guy is ruling against Big Fani, and Fani Willis is running a primary opponent against him. Meanwhile, Fani Willis has a primary opponent against her. I gave myself a deadline because I knew everyone wanted an answer, and I'll tell you that an order like this takes time to write, McAfee said in an interview. There's a lot that I have to go through, and so I've had to, again, and I'll emphasize this, I've had a rough draft in an outline before I ever heard a rumor that somebody wanted to run for this position. So the result is not going to change because of politics. Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody's eating way too much SpaghettiOs. Fani Willis is going to get some bad news. Now, how do I predict this? Because we've had a lot of really smart people on the program telling us a few things. One, when judges take this amount of time to write and theorize and put together large-scale legal theories and orders, that means that the judge is going to disqualify her. That doesn't mean good things for her, because the normal process is to simply allow her to remain on the case. That's the normal process. She's the DA. You're allowed to remain on the case. We'll see what the voters think next time you're up for election. The voters will decide whether you remain DA. And so it goes in Fulton County. But the judge saying, no. Not only am I going to spend a very long amount of time thinking and pondering about this. Again, let's read the judge's actual quote here. I gave myself a deadline because I knew everyone wanted an answer. I'll tell you that an order like this takes time to write. Uh-oh, that's not good. But then also he says, I am calling as best I can and the law as I understand it. So I still feel like I'm on track to have something done by the deadline that I put for myself, which would be Friday. McAfee told the court at the end of the Willis disqualification hearing that he would take at least 2 weeks to decide. That would mean this Friday. Trump and others on the case have been seeking to disqualify Fani Willis after accusing her of financially benefiting and hiring special prosecutor in the case, Nathan's Hot Dog, otherwise known as Nathan Wade, but we think his given name at birth was Nathan's Hot Dog, is with whom she became romantically involved. Oh, you're pros, Yahoo News. Really, truly. Remember, the romantic involvement is Fani Willis being like, do you want me to emasculate a black man? That's literally what she yells during her hearing. Do we have some of Fani Willis's greatest meltdowns? Man, really, really interesting. Ooh, we have the actual interview, ladies and gentlemen, because of course the great ALX has that. The actual interview yourself can be listened to here. I've been reading you the excerpts, ladies and gentlemen. Hear it from the man himself, Judge Scott McAfee. Pray for this man. This man is, of course, fighting all the armies of hell because the libs are losing in every single court in the land. They have no hope in Florida with the Trump documents case. No chance that's going forward. They've now been completely kneecapped by the Supreme Court. They've been able to get whatever teeny little things they could squeeze out of a Manhattan jury just to try to financially hurt Trump. Good luck, Donald Trump. Just sell more golden tennis shoes. And, Georgia's their last hope. So this judge is going to make a decision that will really cause the salt to flow. Pray for this man. Here he is in his own words talking about the weight of his decision.
And I know it's true. So on that side, can you tell us, I have got to ask this question also, can you tell us, are you anywhere closer to that 2-week decision on the election interference? Are we closer to that? Are we sooner than 2 weeks or outside of 2 weeks? How are we looking?
I gave myself a deadline because I knew everyone wanted an answer. And I'll tell you, an order like this takes time to write. There's a lot that I have to go through. And so, I've had, again, I'll emphasize this, I've had a rough draft and an outline before I ever heard a rumor that someone wanted to run for this position. So the result is not going to change because of politics. I am calling it as best I can in the law as I understand it. So I still feel like I'm on track to having that done by the deadline that I put on myself.